Good evening, everyone. I am Deepak Kumar Vishwakarma, STNC Karasraya Saraswati Vidya Mandir, and today we organize an in-house training program. And Mr. Neeraj Kumar Singh will introduce the resource person. After that, we will start the training program. Neeraj, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening to everyone. Today our school Kailas Rai Saraswati Vidya Mandir, Jhumri Tilayas CBC affiliated school, organized an in-house training. First of all, I want to introduce you to my principal, Mr. Sarmendra Kumar Sahu ji, Vice Principal, Mr. Manoj Kumar Singh ji, SNTC Deepak Kumar Vishwakarma ji, who works hard to organize this session. Today our resource person is Soni Kumari, and her topic is Bloom's taxonomy and its applications. What a nice topic is this. This is the topic related from our education, and we know it very well that education is most important in our life. Without education, life is not possible at this time, because all the things are digitalized, all the things are in digital mode. So without education, we can say that our life is like a dogs and cats life. So first of all, we know about what is Bloom's taxonomy. I think that Bloom's taxonomy means aims of learning. What is the aim of learning? What is the purpose of learning? This subject is mainly came from Bloom's taxonomy. The subject mainly comes from American psychologist Dr. Bloom. According to him, he defined the technology of education. Education is not only to educate or to go in the higher level, but also to do the practical work. The knowledge of practical work is most important, not only theoretical work, and to do something for the society. If we educate, then do something for the society in a proper and a systematic way. We know it very well that we all are teachers of Vidya Bharati, and in this topic is related from us, because in this topic we learn different kinds of things, the style of teaching which makes a perfect man for the society. So in this topic we learned more about purpose of learning and types of learning, teaching from our resource person. Our resource person will explain more about this topic. So I don't want to waste your time. I know it very well that we all are here to listen our resource person Soni ji. So please, ma'am, start your session.
A very thank you, and you well defined and introduced to my topic, and also very so impressive introduction. First of all, a very good evening to all of you which are connected to this session. I want to salute first of all our honorable principal sir, vice principal sir, and my learned colleagues. As you know that today is my topic is Bloom's taxonomy and its application. Before going to this topic, I want to discuss about the education. If I say education, then we can say that it is the way to teach the students, and students get the information and learn by you. That is the education. And education is the tool, which is the movement from the darkness to light. I can also say that education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It means if you have the education, then you have a bright future. That is the education. Now, now coming to my topic, that is Bloom taxonomy and its application. As Neeraj sir explained about the Bloom's taxonomy, that it is a model. Now we know about the Blooms. Only I am defining about the Blooms. Who is Bloom? First of all, I want to say Bloom what is the title of an American psychologist, educational psychologist. As slide, you can see that it is a Jewish American educational psychologist, and it contributes in two fields. First of all, classification of educational objectives, and second one is theory of mastery learning. This Benjamin Bloom gives the model to lower to higher education. Now, first of all, we know about the Benjamin Samuel Bloom, which born in 21 February 1913, and his life is finished at 13 September 1919. He was an American educational psychologist who made contribution to the classification of educational objectives and to the theory of mastery learning. He is particularly noted for the leading education psychologist to develop the comprehensive system of describing and assessing educational outcomes in the mid of 1950s. He has influenced the practices and philosophies of educators around the world from the latter part of the 20th century. All over the life of Benjamin Bloom only dedicate to the education. So he is ideal for all the teachers also. Now we go to the second, that means taxonomy. The word relate with the Bloom's taxonomy. So we know about the what is the meaning of taxonomy. According to dictionary, the taxonomy words come from the two Greek words that are taxes and norm. Taxes means arrangement, norms means sign. So we can see that science of arrangement is called taxonomy. Or we can also say that a set of classification principles or a structure, and domain simply means characterizing. Overall, to this slide, we can say that the scientific process of arranging things into groups are known as taxonomy. Taxonomy in the simple words, arrangements of things, that are the taxonomy. Now, I have second slide about the Bloom's taxonomy. Whole word Bloom's taxonomy. This Bloom taxonomy coming from in 1956. In 1956, Benjamin Bloom with collaborator Max Engelhardt, Edward First, Walter Hill, and David Crosby are the friends are established models for education, and it published a framework of characterization educational goals, and also define about the taxonomy of education objectives. This taxonomy, this framework has been applied by generation of teachers and college instructors in their teaching. Means overall to this, we can say that it is a framework to support teaching and learning. It is the most widely used and enduring tool through which to think about a student's learning. Now, I have in next slide two definition of Bloom taxonomy. We can say that Bloom taxonomy is a classification system used to define and distinguish between levels of human cognition, that is, thinking, learning, and understanding. Thinking, learning, and understanding is our human cognition. Now, I can also say that Bloom taxonomy is a categorization that defines different level of intelligence, including thinking, learning, and understanding. Institutes make use of it to improve curriculum, assessment, and teaching methods. Now, we know about what is the purpose to develop this Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy. The purpose of Bloom taxonomy is to help educators to inform or guide the development of assessment, that is, states and other evaluation of a student's learning, curriculum, units, lessons, projects, and other learning activities, and the instruction method such as questioning strategy. Means we can improve ourselves. We enhance the way of teaching. It means it develops. We can also say that it is the exchange of two learning and assessment process. Means assessment is the overall, we can say that, test and other evaluation projects, and curriculum, which are the lesson plans. We are making the lesson plans. Yeah, we can say that we are prepared to go class. Before go to class, what do we have taught in the class? That is the curriculum. It has also helped in our administrators, school administrators, to run the schools and guide the school also. Now, I have next slide about that Bloom's taxonomy. To know very well, we can say that Bloom's taxonomy is developed in two periods. First period is we call original taxonomy, which is developed by Benjamin in 1956, and it is enhanced in 2001. That is called revised taxonomy by Lauren Anderson, a former student of Bloom, which is a student of Bloom's. Now, we know about the first original taxonomy, then we go to the revised taxonomy. Now I have original taxonomy, which is developed in 1956 by Benjamin. The Benjamin developed three domains of learning. The domains are cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Now I have the cognitive method. The cognitive method is also called mental skills or knowledge-based, mental-based model. Affective, which means growth in feeling or emotional area, attitude or self. Then now psychomotor. Psychomotor, that means manual or physical skills. Now instructional designers, trainers and educators often refer to these three categories as KCA. Means all three domains are important to know for the educator, which are the cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor. Now I have the cognitive model or cognitive domain. This domain involves to develop knowledge and intellectual skills. Intellectual skills, which are, we can also to say that all the process going to the learning. It is also includes the recall of recognition of a specific fact, procedural patterns, and concepts that serve in the development of intellectual abilities and skills. In cognitive domains, there are mainly developed 6 major categories. Cognitive process starting from simplest to the most complex. That is, the level start from lower to higher of the knowledge. This is the Bloom's taxonomy first, which is called cognitive domain hierarchical method. It starts. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Please continue.
This model is based on cognitive domain, which is a start from lower to higher thinking. In this, first of all, it is remember. Remember, that means recalls facts and basic concepts. Definitions, duplicate, memories, repeat state are known as remember. Means learning process, learning thing is known as remember, which is based on the ECC pattern student. Coming to next, which one is understand. Explain ideas or concepts is known as understand. Classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, recognize, that are called understand. Now apply. Use information in new situation, which are called apply. Analyze. Draw connection among ideas are known as analyze. Evaluate. Justify a stand or decision, that is called justify. Create. Produce a new or original work that is come from the learning outcome, that is called create. I discussed all the patterns of this hierarchical by one. First of all, I want to explain about the remember. Remember means which you identify anything or learn anything, that is called remember. Now I have knowledge. Knowledge means involves the recall of a specific and universals, the recall of methods and process, or the recall of a pattern, a structure, or setting, that are called knowledge. A student can, in the case of a student, we can say, write list defined with his knowledge if he has. If students know about the writing, then he can write. If we given the any types of list, just like a living things or non-living things, we say that characterize the living things and non-living things. If they have a knowledge about that, then can he do the characterize between the living thing or non-living. If don't have, they can't do this. Now I have second, that is the third topic of cognitive domain, comprehension. Comprehension means it refers to a type of understanding or apprehension such that the individual knows what is being communicated. A student translates, comprehends, or interprets information based on prior learning like explain, summarize, prepare, or describe. Means a student are able to talking with the teachers to his lesson. Whenever we ask any types of question and he explain, that is the called comprehension. Or we can also say about that, if we give a question of paragraph and he summarize this paragraph in own language, that are called comprehension. Now I have next point, that is called application. Application, it means refers to the use of abstraction in particular or concrete situation. That means it has a process, but we are work on the process. A student selects, transfers, and use data and principle to complete a problem with a minimum of direction. How a student can use compute, solve, and apply his knowledge. I am giving a problem of math example, that is 100 subtract 15. Means it gives the result of 85. Means we are giving the some homework and he done, that are called applications. Now I have the next point, that is analysis. Analysis, breakdown of a communication into its constituent elements or parts. A student distinguishes, classifies, and relates the a student can also analyze, characterize, compare, and separate. Means if we have two types of matters or elements and a student analyze both matters or elements and find the differentiate between them, that are called analysis. If I say you that which is greater later, 4 or 5? You say 5. Why you say? Because you have the analysis power and you can characterize this later. So you say that 5 is the greatest than 4. There are many examples of analysis, but I think if I giving the analysis example, then it is the wasting of my time. Now I am going to the next point, that is synthesize. It involves the putting together of elements and parts so as to form a whole. Students originate, integrate, and combine ideas into a product, plan, or proposal that is new to him. Now he can create, design, invent, and develop. He can combine different type of information to find alternative solutions. For example, I am giving one sentence of English grammar which is unjumbled, unassembled. Mother invention is necessary. If the student is able to write this sentence in best, then he can write the mother is necessary invention. If I say that is our country, what you write? The answer. Can you write answer in chat box? I am going to next slide. You can write the you write the India. Why? Because the next affective domain. Affective domain means am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Please continue. Please continue. Please continue.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now I have the second domain, that is the affective domain. It is the action-based domain. Skills in the affective domain describe the way people react emotionally and their ability to feel other living things, pain or joy. Affective objectives typically target the awareness and growth in attitude, emotions, and feelings. Mainly, there are 5 levels in affective domain, moving through the lowest order process to the highest. Means receiving. responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Now I have, these are the lower to higher domain, which I explained this in previous slide. Now I am going to define one by one, which is the first, receiving. Receiving is the first element of affective domain. It is the lowest level. The student passively pays attention. Without this level, no learning can occur. Receiving is about the student's memory and recognizing as well. For example, a student saw a person helping poor. Now, responding. Responding is the second element of affective domain, which is the student actively participate in the learning process, not only attends to add stimulants. The students also react in some way. If a student saw a poor people, then he goes to help the poor. That is the going to help is called responding process. Now I have valuing. Valuing is the relate with our feelings. The student attaches a value to an object, phenomena, or piece of information. The student associates a value or some values to the knowledge they acquired. For example, he gives value that helping poor inappreciable poor. Means the poor person working and he give respect. That is called valuing. Now, organizing. Organizing, the student can put together different values, information, and ideas and can accumulate with his her own schema. The student is comparing, relating, and elaborating on what has been learned. That is called organizing. Now, I want to explain about the last one is the characterizing. The characterizing is the word which is used for identify anything. That is called characterizing. Now the third domain that is called psychomotor domain, which is the action-based domain. Skills in the psychomotor domain describe the ability to physically manipulate a tool or instrument like a hand or hammer. Psychomotor objectives usually focus on change and or development behavior and or skills. Bruce and his colleagues never create subcategories for skills in the psychomotor domain. That means psychomotor domains are used to develop physically level of the student. This is the hierarchical elements of Bloom's taxonomy psychomotor domain. It is also defined as lowest to highest. First of all, imitate. Imitate means copy or replicate the actions of other flowing observation. Follow, repeat, copy, identify, match, manipulate, repeat or reproduce action to a standard from memory or instruction, build, perform, educate, manipulate, perfect, perform action with expertise with and without help, and the ability to explain actions to others, demonstrate, complete, show, be practice, control, articulate, adapt existing skills in a non-standard way in new context or using alternatives. Tools, instruments, construct, combine, solve, coordinate, adopt, develop, integrate, embody, perform action in an automatic, intuitive, or unconscious way appropriate to the content. Invent, design, self-manage, project manage. Means all the work which are given as assessment process is known as the psychomotor domain, or we are doing the some physical work that is called psychomotor domain. We also can say it is used industry specific action verb, build, construct, question, cut, grind, use, operate, weld, set up, cook, or break. That are the psychomotor domains. Now I have some conclusions of the three types of domains of the Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, which is the based on mode of learning. First is cognitive domain, which based on thought and thinking. Examples: memorizing, reasoning, etc. Now, second domain, that is affective domain, and the mode is emotions, feelings. Examples: appreciation, motivation are the examples of affective domain. Psychomotor domain, that is actions or doing, means we are the giving the some work to do as the physically, that is called psychomotors. Typing, playing, writing, reading are the example of psychomotor domain. Now I want to go to the Bloom's taxonomy, which is the revised by his student, that is Lauren Anderson. Lauren Anderson, a former student of Bloom, and David Crothall revised the cognitive domain and made some changes. They made these changes, changing the name in the six characterized from noun to verb form. Means it in the Bloom's taxonomy, it is the based on activity to means, but it change is now its name to activity, creating a process and levels of knowledge matrix, rearranging them. We can see what are the changes of Bloom's taxonomy in 2001. In 1956, the 6 elements are evaluation, synthesis, analysis, application, comprehension, knowledge. But in 2001, it is of creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. Now, implication means what it is helps. Bloom's taxonomy serves as the backbone of many teaching philosophies. In particular, those that learn more towards skills rather than content. Meant it is the process which is not based on content. It is the process of activities. Bloom taxonomy can be used as teaching tool to help balance assessment and evaluative questions in class, assignments and tests to ensure all order of thinking are exercised in students' learning, included aspects of information searching. Means which is students are want to know more than he can satisfied by this Bloom's taxonomy process. Now, I defining all are the application, but I have some points for this application, which are the finding meaning of words, phrase, items that are used in paragraph using application and understanding. Means when I say this, let us go with the conjunctive model, concluding the passage and its points using evaluations and analysis. Means I am explaining this in the conjunctive model of the 5 elements and gaining details and remembering them using understanding and remembering. Understanding the author's tone by using the concept of evaluation. Give a proper title for the passage using the concept of evaluation and understanding. Means it all the benefits of Bloom's taxonomy, which is coming from all 3 types of models. Now, we can understand by an example which I am given. That is, imagine that an essay has to be written by a college student to analyze the communication skill. To complete the given assignment, the student must be able to use the level of Bloom's taxonomy as given. Means first, remember, make use of previous knowledge and different types of communication techniques required in regular life. Second is understand, analyze how all these different type of communication techniques will help them write the assessment. Apply, make use of an academic creatable communication theory and make sure it applies to their personal communication styles. Analyze, Analyze how different types of communications are required based on the situation, audience, and indicator. Evaluate. Assess the communication process from a macro perspective and see the controversy challenge. Create an original framework that uniquely describes one's communication styles. Means you can know that the higher level of student how can thought to write the communication skills essay. Now I have the next point, that is how Bloom taxonomy is useful for teachers. This Bloom taxonomy is dedicated to the teachers. All are the elements are considered for the teachers. Bloom taxonomy helps the teacher to think and analyze their teaching and students' learning. Means it is for both teachers and students. The framework is used to state clear objectives which can help the teacher to plan lesson accordingly. Moreover, it can provide a framework for conjunctive behavior which can be applied to understand the difficulty of tasks, conduct an assessment, and simplify or complicate the activities. And it is also help to teachers to understand the objectives of classroom teaching. It guides them to change the complexity of the questions and helps a student to achieve higher level of hierarchy. Further, it helps to develop critical thinking among teachers. Means overall, we can say that it helps to exchange the our information to a student. It is used for the institute to improve or enhance the curriculum, assessment, and teaching method. It does indicate the learning of students in the classroom. I think I am completed this, but I want to say that if you want to understand Bloom's taxonomy, then I say that it is based only of three models. That is conjunctive, affective, psychomotors, which are all important for us. I am also say that before you can understand a concept, you must have remembered it. To apply a concept, you must first understand it. In order to evaluate a process, you must have analyzed it. To create an accurate conclusion, you must have a complete through evaluation. Thank you to listen this session to all participants and my learned colleagues. Now, Deepak sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You can go.
Participants, if you have any questions or query related to this topic, please ask to resource person. Otherwise, I would like to call Mr. Neeraj Kumar Singh to please conclude, and also thanking all participants to join this program.
I think there is no any kind of question. So thank you Deepak ji, and many thanks to our resource person, Soni Madam. Such a nice topic you chosen and explain this topic so well. You explain all the things. You explain all the things in a proper way with example. That's why we understand the topic in easy way and in better way. You also focus how Bloom's taxonomy is useful for teachers and for students, and how to use the Path Yojana in teaching in our life. That's why that make your topic really effective. You deliver your speech in English and in a sweet and in simple English with an example. So I think that all things are clear in our mind. There is nothing, any kind of confusion in our mind. We understand all the things in simple and understandable way. That's why there is no any kind of question session. So all participants are requested to please mark your attendance. Then you can leave your session. The attendance is shared in the chat box and also in the school group. Thank you. Deepak ji, please share the attendance.
Thank you, sir. Participants,
thank you.
Requesting you to please mark your attendance through Google form. It will be shared on your chat box also and also in our school group.